What's up everybody, welcome in the United States for round 19 of the championship as we are getting ready for the start of this Grand Prix on the option tires. I qualified in third place on the grid and I was happy to see dry conditions throughout the weekend. With only 2 races remaining, the question is, can I secure second place in the championship? We are about to find out.
Top 4 finish is what the boss is expecting today.
As the lights are coming up. And it's lights out, we are underway in Texas and I'm getting a good launch of the line, but I'm getting compromised here by Moss611, who is weaving a bit at the start there. He was struggling with traction perhaps, and Indrexen just thinks he is alone at the track with the 2 Saubers going off in the wall, and chaos happening in the first few turns at this Grand Prix. Gonna Gamble takes advantage. Dan 27's Massa is in the lead already and we are down into 4th place. But we are going to try and stay with these front runners here as we are coming up through this difficult section. The first sector is complete and we are now going to come up to the hairpin now that is leading up to the huge straight where Gonna Gamble is running very wide and we can easily take the position from him and up into 3rd place, while Moss611 has retired from the race already. So he is out as we are coming up to a difficult braking zone here, a hard braking zone with Indrexen just in front of us as we are coming up to the final sector now, sector 3, which is a very nice and interesting sector here with this double left-hander, similar to the one on the Bahrain track where it's easy to lock up your tires. You have to be a bit careful under braking, and this corner here, the triple right-hander, similar to Turkey. But Indrexen running wide there at the exit, and we are diving up his inside and up into 2nd place now. So we definitely had a compromised initial start, but we made up for it in the first lap as Dan 27's Massa sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:43.6, and I was definitely impressed with that time as he was just really quick at the start, and he's about 1 second, a full second quicker than us at this stage of the race. So really nice pace there from the Mercedes driver at his home Grand Prix. Of course, it is the home Grand Prix for Dan 27's Massa, the American driver. And right now the DRS is enabled and we have Indrexen. Is he in the DRS zone or not? I'm not sure, but he looks to be closing in all of a sudden here at the end of the straight, so he probably did get the DRS. He's coming up the inside of us and we are giving him plenty of room there, and side by side going at the start of sector 3, but Indrexen just tries a bit of a too risky move, I think, and comes across my car. A bit of lag involved as well, probably. That didn't really look natural to me. It was not really my fault, of course, and skipping ahead now to the following lap and getting run into the back by Tadger, 1440 McLaren driver, who was right on the back of me there braking, and that definitely compromised my exit onto the straight, and you can see he just takes advantage and takes the place from us. So we move down to 3rd place here as I make my first mistake of the race by going wide there, and Indrexen is up the inside of us, so we are falling back to P4, and that is disappointing with Gonna Gamble right on the back of us as we skip ahead now to this final sector here, right on the back of Indrexen, and he is a bit slow through that corner, but there is contact and I kind of push him wide there, so I want to give the position back as I don't think that was a fair overtake. but Gonna Gamble is right on the back of us, so I don't want him to get past as well. So that's why I'm just leaving the inside open for Indrexen and making sure that Gonna Gamble is not getting past. Even though the Lotus driver is right on the back of me, I sort of solved the situation there and gave Indrexen the position back. Now Gonna Gamble is getting really close. Can we keep him behind? This Greek Don't Lie is now fastest with a 1:43.3. Skipping ahead now to lap 8, and you can see we are still trying to keep up with Indrexen in front of us here, and trying to get that DRS and stay within the 1 second is going to be crucial. And as you can see, we are 8 tenths up, but Indrexen is going wider, making a mistake, and that will allow us maybe for an early pass here, even before we get to the DRS zone. But Indrexen coming back at me at the inside there. Who is going to get the DRS? It seems that Indrexen is getting the DRS, as he was passed by my car before the detection zone. So that's a bit of a shame there, as we got a good run on him, but he does manage to defend the position, and that is the end of our battle for now, as he peels off into the pits after 9 laps on these options. My plan was to stay out for a couple of more laps before making my first stop, as we are 2.3 seconds behind Tedger. And now skipping ahead to lap 11, where I'm making my first stop and going for the prime tires. I'm going to drop back a few places here, as there are some prime runners perhaps, and some people who are still going to have to make their stop. But Indrexen did a good job of making the undercut work, sort of, and putting in the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:42.8 there, and he is coming out ahead of us there, as we are skipping ahead to the following lap here, the start of lap 13. You can see that Tedger is making his first stop this lap, and he's just coming out in front of us, but he's of course going to have cold tires, so we might take advantage of that and have a run on him at the DRS zone straight away. Gonna Gamble sets in the fastest lap of the race, but as you can see here, I get a message there at a very bad timing. The DRS is offline, it seems, and I was really going to make good use of that, of course, on the McLaren driver here, as we are now braking for the hairpin. We are definitely in the 1 second window, but not going to get the DRS because that is offline at this stage of the race for me, unfortunately. But using the curse there to get past Tedger nicely there. But now we have Gonna Gamble storming up from behind and taking us out here, and I'm pushed off the track. Coming back on the track, I'm getting an illegal overtake warning from the steward, so I have to give the positions back, and Woody is getting through, the other McLaren driver as well, but getting hit from the back again by Gonna Gamble there, and the Lotus driver waiting for me there, but of course that was not a good move by Gonna Gamble, and I was really mad about it, to be fair. I lost a lot of time because of that, and as we are now skipping ahead to lap 19, we are behind Tedger, and in front of him is Platinum, I think, the other Lotus driver, who is going to try and defend from us as we both get the DRS. Platinum goes on the grass there a bit. That's not going to help his tires and not going to help him defend the position, as we go up the inside of him and we manage to take that place. So TNG Platinum losing 2 places there in on that straight, and now we are following Tedger here, and we are going to try and make our way past him quickly as well, as we skip ahead to lap 20, the following lap, where you can see I'm clearly in the DRS zone, and this is going to be an interesting moment because I'm actually lifting off the throttle there, and I got a much better exit, but Tedger was slowing down on purpose in my view. I definitely felt that he was way too slow than normal, and this way he gets the DRS, and I am not able to overtake him. As you can see, he's easily defending with the DRS, so a bit of a naughty move there by Thatcher to get the DRS on purpose. At least I felt he did. And now clearly getting that hairpin wrong there, compromising his exit and definitely holding us up here. So I'm trying to cut back here, giving him a slight nudge there off the track. It was a bit naughty of me, but I felt that yeah, it was kind of the same thing he did to me earlier in the race, where he didn't wait for me as well. So continuing on now to lap 24 and getting taken out there by the Toro Rosso driver, So Solid. And as I try to recover, TNG Platinum is getting back through there, but So Solid is a good sportsman and waits for me to recover and give the position back. But on the following lap though, he is getting the run on us here in the DRS zone and around the outside here, going side by side here at the end of sector 2, start of sector 3. Some nice action going on here, but So Solid able to take that position from us. So we are in a battle right now with the Toro Rosso driver, and we are just going to try and keep up with So Solid here, one of my main rivals for second place in the championship. Of course, he has some really good pace going on, and this race he was looking very quick but not that consistent. As you can see, he's making a mistake there off the curb on the final corner, probably losing the rear there and hitting the wall there. Now skipping ahead to my second pit stop here and going for the option tires at the end of lap 29. As I'm going to try a 3-stop race. I felt that the 2-stopper was possible here, but a bit too risky with a risk of punctures. But right away out of the pits, coming out behind Bessa here, who is on a different strategy. He's also on the option tires, but probably on the end of his stint, so we are getting a good run on him with the DRS around the outside, and that's an easy pass and up into P8. About 4.4 seconds behind Gun & Gamble as we are skipping ahead to the end of the lap, and you can see I'm 1.6 seconds behind the Lotus driver, so we are catching up quickly. We are having some really good pace on these options. I'm pushing hard now to go and try and get us a podium finish here in Austin, Texas, and it seems that my curse problem is fixed as well, so that's good. That sounds really good to me, as we are 1.8 seconds behind Gun & Gamble. We have some ground to catch up if we want to get the DRS this lap. With Thatcher is about 3 seconds behind us, so he obviously came out behind us after making his second pit stop. And braking for the hairpin now, we're getting a good run through here, and we are visibly closing in on the Lotus driver, getting the DRS and using all of our curves to get some really good top speed going on here on the inside of Gun & Gamble, and that's a pretty straightforward pass for 5th place. And now the Mercedes driver, Aero Dan 27, 3 seconds up the road, is going to be next. Skipping ahead now to lap 33, and you can see I've caught up with Dan 27, the double world champion of F1, and getting the DRS on the Mercedes driver here, and using the curse as well, and covering off that line there in the braking zone. A pretty nicely executed move there to move us up into P4. And as you can see, we're just having a good rhythm going on, very consistent and very good pace, and about 8 seconds behind Woody, as we are skipping ahead 4 laps later now on lap 37, start of lap 38. You can see we have caught up with the McLaren driver rather quickly, about 8 seconds in 4 laps, so we are obviously the quicker driver at this stage of the race. And you can also see that the McLaren driver Woody is having some problems with his engine. There's smoke coming out of his car, similar to what happened a lot in the races of my teammate Kex, and also in a few races at the start of the season for me. But I've solved that problem, as it was a bit of a shifting problem for me, too aggressive on the shifting coming up into the DRS zone, and this looks to be going to be a straightforward pass with the DRS, and we are much quicker than the McLaren driver. He leaves the gap on the left side. I'm going for the gap, but on the very last moment he's blocking that off, resulting in a contact with the wall for both of us, and he's just driving off like nothing has happened. So I was not happy with that, as we are now behind Dan 27 and falling crucially behind the Mercedes driver in the fight for third place in this race, but getting the DRS on Dan 27 nonetheless, and again going to try and make our way past him now around the outside, and it seems that we made the move stick again on Dan 27, about 25 seconds behind Greek Don't Lie, so we are probably not going to challenge him anytime soon, as we are coming in for what hopefully will be our final pit stop here. And having to replace the front wing is of course compromising my pit stop time, and going to be crucial in the battle with Aero Dan 27. As you can see, he's coming out ahead of me, and we are coming out behind him in P5, and that was pretty much the end of the battle for third there. As the final stint of my race was pretty boring, I have to say. I was driving alone for pretty much all of the stint, except for the final lap here, where So Solid has caught up to the back of me, and he is going to try and get past. But I was carrying those 20 seconds of time penalties, of course, so I was not that committed to defending the position and making some silly mistakes here like that, and putting a wheel on the grass there, as we are about 12 seconds behind Dan 27, and So Solid is all over the back of me trying to get a move done, probably in the DRS zone very soon. And as we are coming to the end of this race, it will be a disappointing result for me, as I personally had good consistency and some good pace going on at this brand new track that I learned in a couple of days. So considering that, I did do a good performance here, and I definitely feel there was just so much more in there for me, and I could definitely be up there on the podium, I feel, if it wasn't for a few incidents that put me on the back foot. But right now you can see So Solid is going to make his way past us here on the final lap. It is not going to change a lot in the results, of course, with my penalty that I'm still carrying with me. But Woody dropped a bit back on the final stint, even though our pace was not that great here on the final option stint. And So Solid making a mistake out of the final corner, which is resulting in a nice little drag race to the finish. These are the full race results, with another victory for Greek Don't Lie, followed by Dan 27's Massa with his best result of the season, Aero Dan 27 to complete the podium in third, from So Solid, Woody, myself in P6 after a 20-second time penalty, Red Tabor, Tadger and Bessa finishing on the lead lap, and Kex taking the final point. Not finishing the race are Gunny Gamble, Indrexen, TNG Platinum and Moss 611. And after 19 rounds, this is what the Drivers' Championship looks like. As we have come to an end of this round, I want to thank you for watching and see you for the final round in Brazil.